this week. Thanks for joining us this week. Before we get to the show, on behalf of the Pinstripe Chronicles family, we wish to take a moment to acknowledge the sadness of this day, September 11th. And our hearts go out to everyone listening who have had personal losses that I'm sure, we're all sure, are felt to this day and forever. And we honor the memories of those lives lost here in New York City, in Shanksville, Pennsylvania, and in Washington, D.C. But for now, it's time to talk Yankees baseball. So cue the music.
Is it nerdy for me to say I love our opening music?
No, I don't think it's nerdy at all. I personally do a little.
Yeah, it gets me all hyped up.
Exactly.
Well, today we are talking the state of the Yankees. There is so much going on with this team, and it is so much fun right now to cheer, to complain. Everything is possible.
Absolutely. And maybe there would have been less to cheer about if we hadn't finally gotten a win yesterday. And we'll see what happens today. This is the series we needed to grab, in particular, as we head down the final path here.
I mean, if we're going head to head with the Rays, and these are must-win games, I would think. We're 4.5 games up at the moment, a 600 winning percentage, and yet, am I happy? Are we happy?
No, we're sort of a grimace face, a little bit in the middle there, and despite those numbers in the loss column, we're looking worse, and we need to take keep an eye just in general, and we also have to remember we didn't expect any of the teams below the Yankees to be a concern.
Right.
And you have the Rays facing the Jays again, and the switch could happen at any time, or they could be right on level with each other again, chasing us. So it's not necessarily a worry about just the Rays. It is at the moment. For those of us that are worried, I presume most of us are at least concerned. So, we'll talk about the look ahead towards the end, but, they're basically a minor league team, and so are we right now.
Right.
With all the injuries.
All the injuries to the Yankee squad are just surreal.
Yeah. And so we're just very fortunate that, between the two Oswaldos, they're working out the way that we were hoping and expecting them to.
Right.
So that AAA move has been benefiting us. But when you look at that lineup and who isn't in it, it's like, who is this team?
Right.
Oswaldo, who? I mean, LeMahieu, Carpenter,
Guzman. Oh, I'm sorry. I interrupted you with the wrong name.
No, that's okay. But the point is, I'm not going to go through the laundry list. We all have it written in our broken hearts. But
right.
DJ, and I think we said it last time. I think I said last time that it's reminding me of the end of last season when he was denying he felt worse than he was, saying.
Right.
And look where we're at now.
Yeah.
And there's a bright light with Rizzo. With getting that blood patch, his migraines are, mitigated.
Yeah.
But per Boone yesterday, and it was a good point. So, I acknowledge the occasion of that. Um, he made a good point, in that, Rizzo has been, not physically moving around very much while all this is going on. So he needs this, at least this week, to ramp things up,
Yeah.
And hit some rehab and, get his sea legs back.
Yeah.
So at best, we're probably looking at him, when we maybe meet Pittsburgh the
That's
weekend.
what I believe. Yeah.
Yeah. And now I'm hearing last night that Booty Bader should be we should be seeing him within 2 weeks.
Right. And let's see, this is 9/11. So 2 weeks from now will be hardly worth it. But all right, whatever. That is kind of a segue into the Monty topic that we wanted to talk about. I know that Yankee fans, some of them are saying, shut up about Monty. We're sick of it. Who cares? He doesn't work here anymore, so to speak. However, Monty came out this week with an interview on R2C2 with CC Sabathia and Ryan Rucco. I don't know if you're fans of that podcast. I am. I listen every week. This week, Monty was on, and oh boy, did he have some words, and is he having a good time in St. Louis?
Well, right, because St. Louis is reaping the benefits that we've always reaped from him.
Yeah.
And it's just,
yeah,
it's reinforcing why the majority of us were not only just shocked, but enraged.
Yes. Well, one of the things that I found interesting that Monty said was that since he's been at the Cardinals, they flipped the use of his fastballs. And also he relies on much better defense. But the Yankees didn't want him. He said, the Yankees didn't want me throwing fastballs. And CC said, basically now he's being aggressive in the strike zone. And then he's got that plus, change up and curveball to back him up. And so,
and not a real surprising observation, right? Or outcome for Monty.
Right.
It just shows the micromanagement of the Yankee front office, and that is inhibiting the full scope of a pitcher's tool bag, and why they were brought to this team in the first place.
Yeah. Well, I agree with you. And I realize I'm not like I by no means am I a pitching guru, or am I qualified to speak about pitching really. But I do remember hearing when Rothschild left, the same charges aimed at him. That his philosophy was that they work off the off-speed stuff. And I thought that was the reason. I don't know. I guess at the time I thought that was part of the reason why he was being sloughed off. They wanted new blood. They wanted new ideas for the pitching, and Matt Blake seemed to be that person. Now I'm speculating that even more than we ever thought, Yankee analytics run this baseball team, and perhaps Matt Blake is as a victim of the analytics as much as Boone is when he makes up the lineups.
Yeah, well, because I was very hopeful at the start of his tenure. I thought that we were seeing better things out of Arms. But yeah, I think slowly, the Kool-Aid has been poured into the veins, and another one bites the dust.
Yeah.
And Monty then brings me to Montas.
Yeah.
Not exactly even Steven on this in any way, shape, or form. Really underwhelming.
Yeah. However, it's not like he's done a poor job, really, but the defense behind him has been really awful. So it's kind of hard to judge. But he shouldn't have given up as many runs as he did. If Hicks hadn't made errors and mental error. I mean, it's that poor Montas in that start anyway.
All right. I'll ease
Yeah.
up a little bit.
A little, just a teeny, but
yeah.
I mean, no one's excited when Montas comes on the mound, and I don't think he strikes fear into the heart of opposing hitters. I mean, we should have gotten Castillo. Everybody said, I mean, Twitter is relentless in saying that that's who we should have gotten, and I agree.
Yeah.
And let's talk a little bit about what happened the other night. We had Derek Jeter back in the stadium, and some interesting things came out of that. But Lynn, I know you wanted to talk a little bit about the Jeter reappearance.
So the big buzz after his speech, which I admittedly was one of the first tweets out there, like, oh my God, did Derek Jeter just hint that he is coming back to the Bronx in some capacity? And by the time I hit send, there were like thousands of them all over the Twitter sphere. Like, I think, first of all, we're all so desperate for something from the dynasty to come back and create a renaissance in this team.
Right.
And who better to do it than Jeter?
Right.
And so, and I think part of what made us all read into it the way we did was when Hal Cashman walked on the field and the stadium was just so loud with the boos.
Right.
And Jeter, said, hey, I wouldn't boo him if I were you.
Oh, that was Hal.
Hal, rather.
Yeah.
Did I say Jeter?
No, you said Cashman.
I said Cashman. Well, kind of the same. But
yeah, Cashman got booed too.
If it was Cashman, it would have been the same. But no, sorry. I let that be my one for the week.
There you go.
But when Hal got booed in that way, that's when Jeter said, you better not boo him. Trust me. And
I wonder what he meant by that.
Exactly. So that combined with one of his closing remarks is now, we're just buzzing, and I hope it's another thing we have to manage our expectations about.
Right.
But, he could mean anything by you'll be seeing a lot more of me at the stadium.
Yeah.
That could just mean he's going to get his daughter's ice cream more frequently at the stadium.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily what we want.
Could there have been a bigger contrast between the game that got played and the men who came to stand with Jeter, the champions of Yankeedom?
No, there could not have been. And what a disappointing outing on Dynasty Day.
Yeah. And can I just say, Friday night's lineup is the worst lineup I've ever seen, I think. I mean, it was horrific. Judge, Torres, Hicks batting third, Kiner Falefa in the fourth spot, Andujar, Cabrera, Peraza, Higgy, and Gonzalez. I mean, it was horrific. And they had the result that you would have assumed.
And it's really sad, Chris. You basically remarked the same way about last Friday's lineup on last week's show.
Right.
And so
they keep topping my worst expectations.
Right. And it really should be the opposite. You're exceeding our expectations time and time again.
Right.
But we have to counter that a little bit with the Walking Dead of a roster we have right now.
I know.
It doesn't mean that we should have we don't have our first our leadoff guy right now. We don't have DJ.
Right.
to have Hicks lead off like he has
Oh,
a couple of times.
can we just say that Hicks, he proved he's done in New York. I mean, that mental error that he had Friday night, I mean, he was benched during the game.
Right.
During the game for a grown man, a
Right.
professional player.
Right. And I don't have a memory of that happening with any other Yankee. I'm sure it must have, well, other than when Billy Martin had Reggie Jackson pulled mid-inning.
Yeah.
Instead of someone else out to do the dirty work. It actually may have been since then. And on a human level, I feel poorly as a human being for Aaron Hicks as a human being. But yeah, and I know I've seen the tweets and I don't disagree. Cry me a river, look at his pocketbook. But, it's still, we could presume his life's passion and his life's work. And he didn't want this to be the way it is.
I don't
so I'm just saying strictly on a human level.
Right.
I have doubts on if we're losing him altogether. So I think this is another thing we need to manage expectations about. Because of, of just the merry-go-round of injuries, and also because of what Boone said yesterday in the presser as well, that, yesterday he still hadn't had a conversation with Hicks, but he was going to circle back to him yesterday. And, and to discuss how he, what he can bring to the team moving forward. I'm sorry, that conversation needs to be the opposite. So, to say it that way is very Boone. And it has me concerned that the conversation's going to be, look, get it to, at worst, get it together, man. Okay.
Yeah.
Just do that. Would you?
Yeah.
It really should be, sorry, my guy, we're going to eat the money. And we're DFAing you.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I didn't know Boone said that, because I hit mute the minute I see his mug.
Yes.
I can't take him. But I did think this tweet was funny about the Hicks situation on Friday after the game. At Yankees, Z's said outfielder Aaron Hicks left tonight's game with ineffectiveness. That cracked me up.
Is that person related to Boone?
Oh my God.
Yeah, I'd say that.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So what's your early impressions of our young guys? Peraza, Cabrera. Now we're going to get a look at Roarvet. Or did we yesterday? I'm not sure.
No look at Roarvet yesterday.
Today, probably.
And speaking of Roarvet, though, while Trevino's on daddy duty, and Higgy was in yesterday, Higgy performed.
He performed.
In pretty important, impactful ways. So, and I'm not saying that wasn't just a one-off, because we know that there's no comparison between Trevino and Higgy when it comes to the bat and when it goes behind the plate. Right. But, with Roarvet coming up, I would just hope that it remains Trevino, Higgy, Roarvet.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting to see, because Roarvet needs to adjust. So they should be using him and like towards the end of the game when they, need a pinch hitter or, and does a half inning behind the plate or something.
Yeah. Just
to get his feel and for Boone to get the feel, and so that Cashman could tell him what to do about it. Yeah. And in terms of Oswaldo to the second power, I just think they have both been every bit what the hype has had us expecting.
Right.
I think that, and talking about the adjustments they're making positionally,
Yeah.
and the that oh God, here I go again. So I'm just going to turn to you.
What?
They moved Peraza to first.
I think it was Cabrera.
Cabrera, right?
Yeah, I
Which
think they
was
gave
my
him
thought.
the
Sorry,
nod.
sorry. Anyway,
No, that's fine.
no. um, and they were showing video of the drills he was going through for it, and boy, he was dynamite at first yesterday. There were some quick plays. I'm especially thinking of the throw from Donaldson to him for the double out on that line drive that went to Donaldson, or
Yeah.
and then throwing it back to try to get the second out. Um, and he handled it well. It just wasn't on time. So my overall point is, and I should have just said Cabrera in the first place, is because I've already pointed out that he just is looking to be the utility guy.
Yeah.
He's looking like next gen DJ, which is because they have been moving him around.
They have been.
And with Peraza, I see him. I'm impressed by his presence alone. We've seen players come up that are just in awe and nervous, because they're finally at the show. We know it took IKF, for an example, to settle. Some will remark that he still hasn't settled, but anyway, these kids came just like ready.
They came ready
to go on.
I mean, it was so interesting to see the configuration of the infield with IKF at third, Peraza at shortstop, and Cabrera. Well, at that point, Cabrera wasn't at first. But these configurations are so interesting. The talent, the athleticism of these younger guys. Now, today, I saw the lineup already. I don't know if you did.
No.
Peraza not in the lineup. And Yankees Twitter was going crazy because what's the point of bringing a kid up if you're not going to play him every day? Have we not already decided? No, do we not know that the experiment with IKF at shortstop and et cetera, it's not, I mean, are we just doing this so that we can keep Donaldson in the lineup?
Especially,
so Peraza, I think I've been impressed by his presence as well. He has had some luck at the plate. Cabrera's had a tougher time getting the bats started, but nothing to be concerned about there. As you said, at the moment he's doing a bang-up job, playing all around the field, and his defense is an asset wherever he's been.
Right. And so the infield, no matter how you slice it in all its configurations, is definitely the defensive strength at this point. And that seems odd to say with Judge and Stanton, but it's just the truth. And it was interesting to me, it's really no surprise that there was stellar performance in Donaldson's absence, because that's where that's his natural position, Cabrera.
Right.
And so it's no surprise that it rained at Yankee Stadium yesterday.
I know.
He came back that strong.
Seem like another Cashman magic trick. Bring in a guy with a Gold Glove at third to play him a shortstop.
Right. Yeah.
What is that? I mean, I thought that meant, and I think that we all thought that meant he was a stopgap. And that when the boys were ready, they would come up and then they would take over this position. One of them, anyway.
Right.
And
Donaldson had to come in a very Luke Voigt way and show, hey, it's still me. Don't even think about it.
Yeah, our bringer of rain, so to speak.
Yeah.
So I don't want to forget to bring up another topic that's on the hot plate right now, and that's Judge and Ohtani vying, both of them, for the MVP award. And this is starting to get, down to the end, and it's getting heated, I think. We've got, on the one hand, we've got the super Ohtani fan, Ben Verlander, who's already given Ohtani the award this year.
Right.
And on the other hand, we've got, Aaron Judge, who's making history with, swings of the bat with regularity. Now, what I think is so interesting, I mentioned earlier the Rucco and Sabathia podcast. Ryan Rucco was a Judge for MVP fan, and yet Cece was an Ohtani fan, more so. I wouldn't say that. I'm misrepresenting it. That was the wrong thing. Judge, he thinks Cece thinks that the real home run record is 73, not the Yankee record of 61. Sorry, that's what it is. And so I think it's interesting as we come down the stretch, as Judge makes this run, whether or not I don't think he's going to hit 73. Do you think he's going to hit 61? And what do you think about the Ohtani race?
So I still think, even though he's due for a home run this series,
right?
Another one, and I do think he's going to smash the Yankee record. And yes, it is true. 60, surpassing 61 will be a franchise record.
Right.
But does Ohtani have a shot at 61 home runs this year?
No.
So that kind of takes out that argument. If we're going to use
right.
home runs as the basis here. What?
Chris just is joining us.
Oh, great.
Good
morning, Chris.
Good morning. I'm so sorry.
We're glad you joined us.
Listening, everybody.
Believe it or not,
our show.
I'm so sorry.
We're happy to have you, nonetheless.
Good morning. Cheers.
We were just talking about actually the MVP race.
Oh God. Okay.
And wondering, we were each giving our opinions on that, and also talking about whether the real home run record is 73 or 61.
Oh, all right. Well, obviously the MVP is Ohtani. I'm kidding. No.
I will fly.
I know. I literally just.
West Coast.
Look,
10 minutes from Kennedy.
It's Judge's award to lose. It should be, at least.
Yes. I mean, as I said, the only real super fan behind Ohtani is Ben Verlander. He's really,
Don't you think he should just vote for his own brother?
It cracks me up. But anyway,
look, it's obviously. It's Judge in my mind. I say it should be. We did. Kevin Kernan did an interview. He spoke with. I'm sorry. I'm still.
Okay.
Okay.
Let me introduce our guest while he's waiting up.
Hi. Yes.
This morning,
my name is Ben Verlander.
This morning we invited Chris Vitali of Ball 9 and BigFlyGear.com to join us, and he overslept. But we're happy he's here now.
It's a Sunday morning. Sorry, I know my alarm didn't go off. It's still 9:30. I got to sleep in. But anyway,
exactly.
Okay. So we have the MVP is Ben Verlander. We're going to go with that.
I think Mike
We're
Trout
absolutely going to go with that.
I think Mike Trout would disagree, since he's voting for himself and touting it all over the place.
I'd vote for Trout more over Ohtani. I mean, it's just me. I I live out here. We actually sell Ohtani shirts with Big Fly, and God bless him. But it's the Judge is carrying the freaking Yankees on his back.
Yeah,
he just is. And without Judge, I'm sorry, I don't know if they're in the position. I think they're in second place without Judge. I think they're behind the Rays, which is a terrible place to be. And I'm
Yeah, exactly.
Hi,
I mean, do
Ethel.
you think do the Yankees, even with Judge right now, what kind of race is it coming down the stretch? I'm a little worried.
I think we're all a little worried. As well we should be. I mean, the team decimated right now. I don't even know who these guys are. I don't know who are these guys.
Right. I mean, who is Guzman? When that happened, I was just like, the season's over.
Ronald Guzman. I mean, really? He's terrible. He had the worst. I think he had the worst Yankee debut of all time. That's how bad he is.
Yeah, I don't know. Chris Carter was pretty bad too, but
Carter got a bad rap, man. I'm sorry. I'm a Chris Carter defender, and every now and again he would run into one and he would blast a couple home runs that
I know.
still haven't landed. I will accept Chris Carter's lander.
Oh my God!
So there was a tweet from Yankees Updates. Yanks Updates is the handle. If the Yankees win tomorrow, which is today, the division is over. Simple as that. 5.5 games is too much with only 20 left.
Well, the Tampa has a much tougher schedule heading out the season. Tampa is, but Tampa has shown us over the last couple of years, that is the most unpredictable team. That is the most that's baseball Susan team in the world.
Right.
Kevin Cash does weird things, and their front office does weird things. I mean, I have no idea who's pitching today. They could pull a guy off the street who's pitching today,
right? And
he might no hit the Yankees. So it's a really weird thing. And
I'd love to see the Yankees today managed to win this game and go up.
They have to win this game. They need to win this game, and the way they won yesterday with authority and just hitting the ball and smacking them around. They need to do that again.
Yeah,
they have to make a statement. You can't just squeak one out today.
Right.
It has to be more than setting the tone during the first inning.
Exactly. I mean, you can't just hopefully score 2 in the first. With Aaron Judge, we'll probably hit a 2-run home run. I hope he does. And then
me too.
And then coast. You can't. You have to. I think the way they won yesterday was really impressive, and it was the first time in a while. I think we all thought that, and I think it was the first time in a while that we all thought wow, all right, these guys are putting their foot on their throats, and they need to do that.
Yeah,
you can't just sit there today and just all right, okay, we're gonna win 2-1. No,
it's the game they should have played for Derek Jeter the night before, and it's the game
that was the most embarrassing thing of all time. Was that not? I mean, that was embarrassing.
That was embarrassing. And Lynn and I were talking before. Was there any more stark contrast between the current Yankee team and the Yankee team, say, from '98? That conversation is over.
Oh God! Remember the beginning of the year, you had all these young kids this team's better than the '98 Yankees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God!
That aged well.
Yeah, that aged really well. I almost got a blue jay, a literal blue jay, almost just hit me in the head. So
it's a sign that they're going to beat the Rays.
Yeah.
I'm in the desert. If a ray actually swims by me, I'm toast.
I'm changing my Bills gear for the rest of the year.
They look good. They look good, man.
They look great. Good. They look great.
It's funny that you asked the other topic of being 61 or 73.
Yeah.
It's funny that I'm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
To me, look, I mean, that's Hank Aaron. That's 755. If they had the cojones to make Roger Maris sit with an asterisk at 61, I think an asterisk can sit there next to Barry Bonds. Look, he hit him. It happened. We can't dismiss the fact that it happened. So, yeah, 73 is there. But if they gave an asterisk to to Maris at 61 because he played a couple more games with Babe Ruth. You throw a little, throw one next to. I mean, it's an insane argument to me. I mean, because it happened. You know, I mean, we can't say well, it never happened because yes, we watched it happen and it saved baseball. I mean, it's one of the things that Vitali did that saved the game when the game was going in the toilet.
Yeah. I mean, for me personally, I lived in Pittsburgh.
But I'm still.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, that's it. I
was going to say I lived in Pittsburgh and I kind of watched Bonds grow up. And so I never had the problems with Barry that other fans did. I mean, I know the PEDs and all that, but anyway, Barry
Bonds was going to be in the Hall. But Barry Bonds was a Hall of Famer before he started doing that, and he started doing it was because Sosa and McGuire were doing it, and they were getting all this attention. And Bonds' biggest problem was his ego.
Oh yeah,
that was his biggest issue. That I mean, it's not like he could have never done that. Been in the Hall of Fame, coasted into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
still was one of the best ball players of all time. Still, but his ego got him, and so he's like and then his head grew, literally. I mean, like you talk about a guy who had a big head. I mean, it's.
It is a steroid after effect.
Oh, remember Skinny Barry Bonds? Skinny Barry Bonds is really good.
He looks really good.
Yeah.
But yeah, so look, I mean, you have to recognize 73 as the number. You have to. And the cool thing, and I think if Judge does it, technically, you know what? Okay, it's the American League record if he gets 61, 62. Let's just roll with that, and people can think what they want.
Exactly.
Like I was saying, Kevin Kernan talked to Kevin Maris the other day, and Mr. Maris, he thinks Judge is getting screwed. I mean, he's like, it's a real shame because Judge could be chasing the actual record if guys didn't do PEDs. Yeah, but they did do PEDs.
Right.
And it's like McGuire happened, Sosa happened, Bonds happened. So you can't say it never happened. You can't just pretend it never happened. And I know the world we live in, and I know a lot of people are like, well, that never happened. Yeah, it happened.
Yeah, it happened. I've heard that Judge himself thinks 73 is the record to beat.
Yeah, well, he does because it is.
Yeah, I mean, that's his opinion too. So I've never heard him say that, but I read that the other day.
No, I saw that too, and it really is. It's unfortunate that we have to say that. That like you have to preface it with that argument. Like, is it a real record? Well, it's the record. No matter what, whether you like it or not, that's the record.
Right.
And we beat it.
Exactly.
I mean, like you hit 74 and make the argument. It's not an argument.
Oh, absolutely. Hey, that kind of leads me to the transition for the rule changes. Lynn and I wanted to talk about the rule changes, especially the shift. What do you think about the rule changes?
All right. Well, how do I even? Wow.
Where do you even start? Let's start with the shift.
All right. Let's start with the shift. They use the shift because it works.
It works.
And it's worked. And for over the last, 15 years or so, has it turned baseball into a more home run or nothing? Has it contributed to more strikeouts and just the change in approach and hitters? Has it really kind of screwed the game? Yeah, it has. But it works. I'm gonna say it. I'm glad they're getting rid of it because the players and the hitters aren't changing. They're not adapting. They're not doing what they need to do to just it's like they're not hitting the other way. And you're gonna hear everybody say, "Oh well, the pitchers are throwing too hard." Bullshit.
Right.
Sorry, but I mean it's if you're a professional hitter, you can go that way. You can bunt. You can do something. But at the same time, I don't want to see 6 guys in right field. I just don't. It's boring. It's a boring product.
Yeah.
And You know,
who
sorry, Lynn, go ahead.
you know who disagrees with you, Chris? Terry
Everyone?
Francona. Terry Francona says that it's up to the hitters to adjust.
And I agree with Terry Frank. See, that's the thing. That's why I hate, that's why I don't like saying good, get rid of it. Because Terry Francona, Tito's right. It is up to the players to adjust, but they're not adjusting. And these guys are being taught at a younger level. At lower levels, they're being taught to hit it over the shift. That's where you get a Joey Gallo type player coming up. All or nothing. It's feast or famine, and that's not good for the game. There are millions and millions and millions of less people watching the game from 10 years ago. And the more they do this, because it works and because players are falling into the trap and they're like, oh, well, the pitchers are too good. We can't hit it the other way. Yeah, you can, but you're not.
Right. No, they're not. It's amazing that they don't adjust because you say, why don't you just hit it the other way? I mean, someone like, I don't know. I was going to say someone like
Shit.
someone like Tony Gwynn or Ted, these people, they did not hit it. I don't know if they had shifts then, but certainly the great hitters hit the ball all over the field or could do whatever they wanted with the ball.
All right, I thought my internet went down again.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, I thought my internet went down again. That's all.
Oh, so
I had no internet for. Oh God, Leroy.
No one likes the argument that hitters should just hit it the other way.
Hi, Ethel.
There's Ethel and Leroy's barking. Hey, Leroy, say hello. Come here.
Hey, Leroy.
Oh, Leroy's over
there. Leroy Brown.
So that's the shift. What about the pitch clock? Oh, and the size of the bag?
Leroy,
ideas on those?
Come here, buddy. Okay, go. Oh my God, I'm sorry. Everybody just woke up today. I'm sorry about that. All right. So
pitch clock.
I don't mind that.
No, I don't mind it either.
I mean, if not even like, I don't even think it's gonna, make the game shorter. It's not. I don't think that's what it's about. I think it's about. It's like days of old, when guys get the ball, like when Nestor Cortez is on and he gets the ball and he throws it.
Yeah.
That's what I think it is. I mean, and it's funny. I read some Matt Carpenter was saying, like, before he wound up in Round Rock in Texas, he was like, I didn't know what the hell this pitch clock was. And all of a sudden he gets there. He's like, I love it. It's great. Yeah. It keeps everybody in the game. Yeah. I am going to say people's batting gloves are going to suffer because they're not going to get their Velcro thing happening every single time. R.I.P. batting gloves. But exactly. Like you can't get out there and pull the old David Ortiz and all that shit.
Nomar Garciaparra.
Exactly.
He was another one, man.
Just be like Jorge Posada, pee on your hands, no batting gloves needed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing that is talked about though is what it does to stealing the bases.
Well, the larger bases. That's
that
I don't like.
I don't remember where I was reading it, but the remark was something like, ask Ricky Henderson how he would have felt about it. Ricky Henderson
would have had about 7,000 stolen bases.
I would have more 200 more stolen bases. Exactly. So, yes, but not. I mean, I think that's
I don't like when you start messing with the numbers. 90 feet, 60 feet, 6 inches. I don't like. These are numbers. I mean, come on. This is the game. This has been, 150 plus years.
Right.
90 feet. Hell, half the reason I called ball nine was because that number 9 pops up, not 88 and a half. I mean, like what?
Right.
I mean, like 9 players on a field, 9 innings, 90 feet, not 8. Great.
Right.
I'm gonna have to rebrand myself as ball 88 and 8. But no, that one I don't like. And everybody's like, oh, it's for player safety. No, it's not. It's because I'm so tired of shit being done in the name of player safety.
Yeah.
The Buster Posey rule, the crap at second base where you can't knock a guy out when you're trying to break up a double play. This is garbage. I mean, they're not idiots.
Right.
You know, I mean, they're not. I mean, like, oh my, it's an inch and a half on a freaking base.
I know.
Really gonna save careers?
Yeah.
That one is idiotic. That's idiotic.
It's idiotic, but
And is it really going to add to more stolen bases? Really? They're
really
already in open mitts, so their hand is this fucking big. Get out of here.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
It's all for
That one gives me a red ass. So I'm sorry about that. That one I don't like.
I think Altuve bought that one, but you know.
Well, he could use a little smaller field. When disappeared? Holy shit! That was like.
I'm gonna get added for that. I'm gonna get ratioed.
Why? For what? No, he likes little things.
It's the truth.
Well, last but not least, let me ask you about this. So, post-trade deadline.
Oh,
how do you think that's working for the Yankees? How's that working out?
Can I have 15 seconds to answer that one? And
You
grab
can
my
have
coffee?
you can have as much
Thank
time
you,
as
because
you
I
need.
have something to say about that, Chris.
Okay.
So, give me 30 seconds.
Okay. Give
Here's Ethel.
it to us.
By the way, there's Ethel.
Ethel, come here, Ethel. What do you think about our chances for the postseason? Ethel. Well,
I mean, I'm of the opinion that post-trade deadline was not a successful year for us. Montas is a disappointment compared to Castillo.
All right.
I'm sorry that that things worked out that way. I miss Monty, and I'm not going to unmiss him, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay. All right. I'm stretching. Okay.
Right.
Now. All right. Here goes my whole day because I'm going to start complaining about this, but screw it. Thank you, Louis Tiant. Okay. All right. Now, post-trade deadline. I don't like normally doing an autopsy on the Yankee season before it ends, but I will do one right now.
Yeah.
That trade deadline, look, I love Harrison Bader. I think, Chris, I told you yesterday, I was like, my brother-in-law is, I mean, you know, he's a director. He's out doing Fear the Walking Dead right now. The Walking Dead right now is the fucking Yankees lineup.
Thank you. I called them the cast of Les Miserables yesterday. Same thing.
No, they are. And, you know, I mean, like the zombies right now, I mean, that's who they're putting out there every day. You don't know what the hell you're getting. You have no idea what you're getting. Now, I love Harrison Bader. He's a Bronx kid. You know, my brother-in-law was really sad to see him go until they got Montgomery. And now he's like I think, Chris, I told you this too. I was like, so now I get something from, you know, my brother-in-law, Kenneth. He's like, thanks again, but you son of a bitch. But, you know, we did that to him with Luke Voigt and with Matt Carpenter, you know, the entire time. And so he literally said, he's like, that's what you get for screwing us, man. I mean, it finally happened. So I mean, I understand wanting to bring Bader in because Hicks is a complete garbage can. I mean, he's terrible. We saw yesterday Aaron Hicks. Even Leroy's like, yeah, fuck Aaron Hicks. So, now let's talk about the pitching.
Yeah.
Brian Cashman somehow, he missed out on Louis Castillo, and Castillo was the guy. He was the guy. Remember when the Reds played at Yankee Stadium? I was driving up. I was up in Big Bear. I'm driving up. I'm listening to John and Susan, and even they were like, they just expected Louis Castillo to be on the Yankees later. Yeah. So I'm driving up. I'm like, this is great. And he's putting on an audition. He put on a show. It's like, all right, I am going to be the next Yankee great pitcher. And to be completely honest, I would trust Louis Castillo over Garrett Cole right now.
Yeah.
Just because I would.
Easy.
Instead, and you know what? I'd rather bring Louis out of retirement than deal with Frankie Montas or whatever the hell it is that freaking Michael K calls him. Frankie Montas.
Montas, yes.
Moontoss. You know what? I mean, awesome than the moon. I'm all right with it. He's terrible. He's never been able to pitch outside of the Oakland Coliseum, and now he's always outside of the Oakland Coliseum.
Right.
So it's like he's terrible. He's literally. I trust Nestor Cortez 100 times more than I trust this guy. You know, I even trust Tyone more than I trust this guy. So you give up Waldichuk, Wisniewski, whatever that guy's name is.
Well, you got it.
JP Sears, and then a starter and the only lefty starter in Jordan Montgomery, and you get freaking Frankie Montas?
Right.
He's terrible. He's terrible. He stinks. I'm sorry. He's a bum. He stinks. And that was the big pitching acquisition.
Yeah. Oh, it was a painful thing.
Here, but I mean, you know, and it's a good thing I don't have gin because I dumped that in my fucking coffee thinking about my contest.
Well, it really could be tequila for Tianti, but whatever works.
I think that would be rum. I think we'd go rum, but it's still way too early for that. So I just literally.
Yeah, it's 5 o'clock somewhere.
It's 5 o'clock.
Yeah, well, but, not here. It's not
all the complaining that we're doing and all the booing that Cashman and Hal got when Gio was around the other night, none of that's going to make a bit of difference. I mean, this team is not going to suddenly spend the kind of money we're hoping. And I mean, I think they are setting a precedent, and we can expect it to go on this way.
Well, they're not. I mean. I forgot who it was. Somebody on Twitter said something. I think it was that guy Bobby Malone who fucking he's that poor bastard. He's going to give himself a heart attack. But I mean, I think he said something about like he broke down 20 years ago what they spent on, the percentage of revenue that they spent, putting it back into payroll. It went down. Yeah. The percentage of revenue is they're just not spending it on the team.
No.
And it's like, I mean, it's look at what the Dodgers are doing. Seriously, look at son of a bitch. Sorry. I just turned into Phil Rizzuto.
Look what Minnesota did just to us.
That was the biggest up yours move of the entire offseason. It's like, here, you're going to have – look, if you really wanted to get rid of Gary, all you had to do is non-tender him. Just get rid of him. Just dump him. Dump him. What do you want to hook for $7 million? Instead, you get $25 million worth of Donaldson.
I know.
Who, for $25 million, you better be Greg Nettles and be able to hit like fucking A-Rod.
Yeah.
And they went and they're like, okay, we're going to take that money and we're going to go spend it on Carlos Correa. And it's not like Correa had a great year this year.
No.
But I'd rather he was at shortstop. If you really wanted Connor Valeva, you throw him at third base.
Yes.
And Correa put on quite the
tune in with Gio, something. I mean, whatever. Or make Connor Valeva your utility guy, which I think is a role he would thrive in. Instead, what they did was put another guy out of position, fuck with his head, just like they did with Glaber all year last year.
Yep.
It's like everyone can't be a shortstop.
No. I mean, I do not understand the Yankees' philosophy right now. What it is how they're building their teams and how they plan to win championships. It's not obvious to me how they plan to do that.
No, I'm shocked they haven't thrown freaking Stanton at shortstop at this point.
I could tell you what the philosophy isn't. It's not the philosophy of George Steinbrenner. The exact opposite.
If
we don't get the trophy.
We all grew up with the George reign of terror. And something, who we need? We need a Stick Michael type.
Yes, we do.
Bob Watson type. That's who we need. Bob Watson and Stick Michael, they built that dynasty.
Right.
They're the ones who curbed George's appetite for wanting to trade everybody. Shit, he wanted to trade Jeter. He wanted to trade Bernie.
Right. Agreed. I'm talking just about the overall prevailing expectation was like.
I wish George was around just to fire people. Fire
yes.
Matt, fire Eric Cressy, fire this idiot Dylan Lawson, hire baseball people. At what point do the nerds get fired?
I know.
They don't. The analytics department, the nerds, they do not get fired.
Yeah.
Their jobs are apparently, safe for perpetuity.
Right.
And who gets fired? A guy like Marcus Timms. Like, yeah, that was his fault. Or Larry Rothschild, like they just ran him out of town. You know what? They ran Larry Rothschild out of town because of what you saw what Jordan Montgomery said about with CC and Rucco, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's like, man, he's under Mike Maddox now. And obviously that's Greg Maddox's brother. So he knows a little something about pitching. And Montgomery looks great. He looks comfortable. He doesn't have to think. They're not trying to change everything he does.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's what they're doing. And I don't know, I mean, they could try and change what the hell Montas is doing, but multiples, but whatever the hell.
Right. I mean, do pitchers come to the Yankees to improve? Like Garrett Cole, has he improved as a Yankee?
He regressed. And
I don't think
a spider attack in this end. No, he regressed because you know what? They're trying to sequence what he does. They're coming up with a game plan at 2:00 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
For a 7:00 game. So printer and the spreadsheet spits everything out. This is what we're gonna do. This is we're gonna have attack hitters. Here's I'm gonna look at the stupid card in my hat. Right. This is how I'm gonna attack them. They're not using their brain. And that pitching is, I was talking to it's funny. I somehow became friends with that guy, Wayne Franklin, who's a huge Yankee fan. And, he pitched for the Yankees briefly. And, but he loves talking pitching. And I was talking to him and Kyle Farnsworth the other day. And it's like, he said hitting is all timing. Pitching is disrupting timing. So whatever you can do to just get a hitter off of that, it's not how many 2-strike sliders are we going to see hit for home runs this year? Because that's what the spreadsheet says. Your percentage of getting this guy out with a slider with 2 strikes and 2 outs is better than throwing your gas or throwing whatever the hell you're comfortable with or whatever your pitcher puts down, which now a pitcher doesn't even put anything down. He hits a fucking button. Yeah. Sometimes less is more. And I'm sorry, and maybe I'm an old man. I'm a 48-year-old guy, and maybe I'm an old man, but this shit does not translate to a good product, and they lose. They lose. And it loses games. And every Yankee fan I know, Chris, Lynn, I know you, but we are accustomed to, this is the New York Yankees. Anything less than a World Series is uncivilized.
Absolutely.
And, and holy shit. Okay, I think a Blue Jay just ate it. Anyway, sorry. The Hawk ate a Blue Jay. So that's crazy. That's like an Expo beating a Blue Jay. Anyway. I'm sorry. I don't want to keep you, but you know what? It's just let pitchers do what they do. Let them be comfortable. Let them pitch to their strengths. And I think that's exactly what you're seeing in St. Louis with Mike Maddox and with Jordan Montgomery. It's like they're just letting him throw they're letting him throw his fastball when he wants to throw his fastball.
Exactly.
And that's the thing. You're not seeing enough fastballs for you. These guys can throw 98, 99. Throw 98, 99. Don't throw a fucking 97-mile-an-hour slider because that's what the card in your hat tells you to do. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense.
Absolutely. I got to applaud that because that's exactly the way I think about it.
Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Sorry.
Well, Chris, thank you for coming on with us. I'm sorry to run. We appreciate it. Come back.
I will. It's you know what? I tell you what, in 2 weeks I'm going to the Yankees Boston series, so 9 o'clock will be 9 o'clock my time.
That would be fantastic.
From some weird hotel somewhere, So I would love to do it when it's Sunday's like Sunday's the only day I can sleep in. So I really apologize for that, ladies. And
no.
I swear to God, I open my one eye and I'm like, night. Oh shit! And I think, God, you're lucky I'm not in a bathrobe. You're lucky I have clothes on.
Look, now we know
I apologize.
It's not enough of a gift.
Exactly.
You're not an afternoon shift. No, you need your sleep. I didn't know it was your only day off.
I was up until 4:30 in the morning working last night. So,
oh my God. No.
And I think Chris, I was talking to you at about 4 o'clock in the morning at my time.
I know. I'm an early riser.
I would like to. Can I say one last thing before we go?
Yeah.
I would like to say, and this is in remembrance of my cousin and a couple friends that we lost on September 11th. I want to say, I just want to raise my coffee and say that today's you got to win one for these guys today. You got to win one for these guys today. And
absolutely,
that was a rough day. I lived half a mile away, and I got evacuated. And I went on a job interview a week before on the 88th floor. Thank God I didn't get it.
Wow.
Yeah.
And but no, my uncle was a firefighter, and my cousin was a firefighter. We lost them, and a couple of my friends that did work up there. So, it's a somber day. It's an interesting. Let's make sure we do not lose to the fucking Tampa Bay Rays on this day.
Right, and beyond that, let's make sure that we remember to be kind to each other.
100%, 100%.
And we are one world. And we are all human beings. So a little bit more kindness would be a great way to honor.
Wouldn't that be nice if people were just normal again?
Yes.
Because
go back to that.
Let me tell you something. Obviously, you guys remember that World Series. Byung Kim, gave up those 2 games to Tino and Jeter, and I'll never forget. This was I was at a place called the Cherry Tavern on Avenue A and 6th Street, and we're watching the game, and I was the second comeback in a row, and I was standing outside, I'm having a cigarette, and all of a sudden this guy's walking down the street, and he was like super thug looking, hat, just like big mofo and like big dude, and he had a giant freaking ghetto blaster, just like giant boombox, and he was listening the game, and all of a sudden this is when everybody's going nuts because the Yankees just tied that game again and about to send it to send it back to Arizona. And me and this guy, he picked me up off the ground. We're just hugging each other and like we're dancing around like 2 idiots. I have never seen anything in the world that was like that, and that's what baseball brought back together and brought back to New York City. And that's, I'm not saying that's what we need today, but that little bit of humanity goes along. That goes a long way. And just treat each other nicely, and just how like this guy that if you saw this guy, I was like, I grew up, I'm in New York. I'm used to crazy looking people. I was like, this dude is fucked up. Like, and he picked me up off the ground. He's hugging me. He was like, we need a little bit of that. So let's try to remember that today, and try to remember when people were cool to each other.
Yes.
And when baseball really meant something to the entire city and the entire world. The
entire world. So. Well, thank you for reminding us of that, and we appreciate it. Come back during the Boston series. We'd love it.
I will. That Sunday morning, I will be wide awake, and it'll be actually 9:00 real time.
Excellent.
All right. I'll be there in 2 weeks.
Can I squeeze in the trivia question of the week?
I was just going to say, give us the trivia question.
And I'm looking up. It looks like we have a bit of a rain delay.
Wow.
Yeah, I could have told you that because I'm about 10 miles north of the stadium.
Yeah.
It looks very clear behind you, Lynn.
Oh, wow. Oh, I just blew my cover. I'm not really levitating over Yankee Stadium.
You just ruined my morning. Never mind.
I mean, I have superpowers, but that ain't it. All right. So in staying on topic of Derek Jeter, here's this week's and the superstars we saw on the field with him on Friday. Here's the question. Andy Pettitte, Derek Jeter, Jorge Posada, Mariano Rivera, and Bernie Williams all donned Yankee uniforms on opening day of the 2003 baseball season. These 5 players share 2 unique common bonds with one another. One is that they were the only remaining members from the 1996 championship team that were still Yankees on that opening day. What is the other common bond?
Ooh.
All right. That's a good one. All right, you guys, we're challenging you. We want you to go out there and figure it out. Comment, let us know what you think. Catch us on Twitter.
I got it.
Chris has the answer.
No, I really am. I was gonna say they all went to Chuck Knobloch's birthday at that one weird club. I don't know. Oh
my God. Well, thank you for joining us today. Enjoy the game, and let's go Yankees.
Go Yankees.
Sorry I was late. Let's go Yankees. Let's go Yankees.